The International Court of Justice is a court that was created to solve problems of disputes of any nature. But this court was created on the basis that times could change and the constitutionalism and the mandate could also change. The International Court of Justice has never changed. In this court, there is no chamber for appeal. There is no chamber for amicus curiae, for people to bring in their opinions in terms of individuals or organizations that are hurt in one way or the other, or good opinions that could shape the outcome of the findings or the cases filed there. This court, therefore, remains one of the most obnoxious, one of the most opaque institutions whose findings we don't know who decides and how the decisions are taken, how stakeholders are supposed to recourse to a remedy, where to get a remedy, we don't know. A court has no chambers, no lower chamber, no upper chamber for appeal. It has itself as a final court of jurisdiction around the world. Are the people of the world going to say, is Somalia and Kenya going into this court, seeing the obstacles that they will cause for the region? Those are the questions I ask. And I want my viewers and those listening to this tape to understand that Africa needs to solve the problem in an African way. There is no other way to solve the problem of Somalia and Kenya amicably than sitting on a table to have a discussion, find ways of resolving the conflict that has brought us to not talking terms. But Somalia seems to be pushed by external darker forces to go and dismember the unity that we have in the Great Lakes region and the Horn of Africa. ICJ as a court is an institution that is very opaque, very dark in its sense of darkness, that you don't know how decisions are made. There is no counter checks and balances in the decision making. I therefore urge Somalia and Kenya not to attend this court. I urge Somalia and Kenya to avoid this court for the sake of peace in the Indian Ocean. I also have called upon the countries that are supporting Somalia to take this case, to withdraw their support for the sake of security, because we have only one common enemy. The enemy are the terrorists killing the innocent Somalis who need our help to be liberated from these fighters who have come and gathered in the great once country, or the PAL, one of the Pan-African countries in Africa. Thank you very much, viewers. That is my message to the world. Let's spread it. The International Court of Justice is opaque. It doesn't have appeal chamber. It doesn't have preparation chamber. It doesn't have any. Once the decision is made, the decision is final. Do we need that? We call that democratic. I leave it to you. Thank you.
Good morning, viewers. Thank you very much for coming to watch us, for watching us from Punchline Africa Television Political Command Center in London. This is Dr. David Matsanga with Diplomatic Links, a program that goes behind the diplomatic enemies, diplomatic lines, to see what is cooking behind there. The whole of this week or last week, we were dealing with the relationship between Britain and Kenya. Today, we want to change the subject a bit, because that relationship, anything is going to happen anytime. There will be changes on Monday. which is 12th. And by 12th of Monday of April this month, the British government will have to make some announcements. Either they have switched off to another modus operandi, or they have climbed down to some position. And when you see it happening, tell them that we said it on Punchline Africa TV. So that is the silent diplomacy that's taking place behind the corridors of shouting diplomacy and the letters of hot pursuit of unwanted attacks on each other by the social media and the Kenyans on Twitter. It doesn't help at all. We need silent diplomacy. That's why we teach students like Musa Abudi Haji, Dito, to do PR of international level, because he knows when the Battle of Waterloo was fought, he knows where Waterloo is. He knows who did conquer the Waterloo. He knows the generals who were involved in the Battle of Waterloo. But if you have every Kenyan on Twitter talking about colonial or insulting colonialists, when you really don't know even who was the last governor of the Republic of Kenya as a colony. If I ask people randomly, even here, we have to look in through our telephones. Some people don't know who was their last governor. I want to thank you so much. I want to tell you that this program teaches people, and those people with knowledge, you must know your last governor. Who was the last governor of Kenya before you got independence? So some of the younger men writing on Twitter don't know who was the last governor. And then they go on insulting everybody. When you tell them, you teach them. However, this morning, Miriam will take us through a very interesting subject, the disintegration of Somalia. Somalia is set for further disintegration. It's set for further disintegration in the sense that Somalia has, instead of holding elections, a crisis is looming, crisis is there, the crisis has come. Al-Shabaab seem to be having an upper hand. Al-Shabaab seem to be striking even deeper in the territories that the government of Somalia purports to be handling. Somalia also goes to the extent of utilizing quite a number of things that we see in the region. Somalia sent troops across to Eritrea, and Eritrea sent troops into Tigray. Today, as Eritrea takes out its troops from Tigray, it's a shame. Farimajo is on the line, will be taken down by the United Nations Security Council. I promised you that I will not keep quiet until Farimajo is reprimanded by the United Nations Security Council. I want to thank you, all of you. Back today, that is the topic of the day. Miriam, back to you in your political command center, somewhere outside the general headquarters. And at this time, we have beaten the game of those who want to beat us the game. We have beaten them. We are operating from different locations. Thank you very much for keeping your Easter holiday and Easter Monday out open for this one show. God bless you.
All right, Doc, thank you so much for that introduction. Also on the panel this morning, we do have Daniel Wasonga from Nairobi. Daniel, a very good morning to you.
Yes, a very good morning, Miriam Ogutu in Nairobi. A very good morning to Dr. David Masanga, who is in London.
Very well. We also do have Samuel Tawish from Nairobi. Samuel, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Miriam and Dr. Masanga. Good to see you, Sinwe Songa. I can also see my other panelists who have actually joined this show this morning. It's great actually being with you this morning. After a while, of course, due to some flu, but I'm glad I'm recovering well. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Sawish, nice to have you. We also have Musa Abdi Haji from Isiolo. Musa, very good morning to you.
Morning, Miriam. Thank you so much for having me. To fellow panelists, Dr. David Matsanga, Daniel Wesonga, and Brother Tarwish, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
All right, nice to have you. And also Dr. Joseph Nyanchama and Douglas Kirimi, as well as Jevan Karanja. They will be joining us in a short while. But before they come, Somalia's presidential elections were scheduled to take place on 8 February 2021, allowing for the nomination of a new president before the current president's term ends. However, the vote never took place after disagreement among the country's leaders on how to hold the election. President Mohamed Abdullahi Majo ended his term on 8th of February 2021 with no elected successor, leaving a power vacuum. The situation is a familiar one, with the previous two presidents of Somalia having stayed in office beyond. So this is not the first time that Somalia is experiencing this. But according to their constitution, Farmajo is still in power until the next president is elected. So this lack of having election, first of all, is it a delay tactics on President Farmajo's side? Samuel Tawish.
Very well. Thank you so much, Miriam, once more, and the rest of the panelists who have joined us, and of course, our dear viewers who are watching this program this morning. Indeed, as you rightly put it, Miriam, President Farmajo is buying time. So that he can see whether he can secure yet another chance to lead the people of Somalia. Actually, time is running on his side because of this delayed election. First of all, there's also that pandemic COVID-19, which the wave which is actually sweeping across Somalia as well. And the political instability, of course, that has been caused by the soaring Al-Shabaab attacks in Somalia is actually brought what I will call indefinite way forward in as far as how elections should be held in Somalia is concerned. But I think by and large, the reason why President Farmajo is buying time in all these is because of his failed leadership and governance since he came into power in 2017. His administration has seen a lot of failures. One, a lack of fulfilling of the campaign promises or rather pledges that he made to the people of Somalia when he went to this election, and also the kind of the diplomatic sparks between Somalia and the region, especially the neighboring countries, key among them being Kenya, is going to leave a bad legacy for President Farmajo. So I think what he's trying to do is trying just to have stay longer in power, so that maybe he can try to see how he can correct this. But I think again, time is running out for him. Another aspect, of course, Miriam, is that Farmajo came into power with all these promises that is going to change and bring a new dawn to people of Somalia, but we have not seen that actually happening. Instead, the whole regime of Farmajo has been tainted by corruption and the failed leadership that I'm talking about. His has been about swindling the resources of the people of Somalia. And so at this particular moment, I think Somalia is, Farmajo is rather in a confused guy. He doesn't really know what to do. He doesn't know whether he can win the war against the Al-Shabaab in Somalia. He doesn't know whether an election is going to be held. He doesn't know how to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic that is sweeping across Somalia. He doesn't know how to restore the souring relation between Somalia and the neighboring countries, especially Kenya. So Farmajo is basically, I think, a confused fella. And moving forward, he thinks maybe by continuing to buy time being in power, he can redeem his image. But I want to say that his time is up. He should allow the people of Somalia, at least at this particular moment, to conduct an election and elect another person who, one, is going to address the question, is going to address this question of souring relationship between, that is the diplomatic relation, and also looking onto the boundary dispute between Kenya and Somalia, the case that is before the ICJ. Maybe Farmajo thinks by continuing being in power, his presence in Somalia or being the president can add any impetus to this particular case. But I don't think so. He has to let it go. He has to allow another leader to come in so that he can rectify and redeem Somalia's, approaches to matters that are so critical to the people of Somalia. Miriam, I submit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you so much, Tawish. Now, last year, of course, questions were supposed to be held last year, but they were postponed to this year. And then around September, the government came out and said the elections that were meant to be happening in February were not going to be possible. And it gave a couple of reasons. And one was because of the famine due to the desert locust. And the next one is, of course, COVID-19 pandemic. The other one was war with Al-Shabaab insurgents, and then the potential for deadly civil unrest in the country. So there is potential and a real threat of another rise of a civil war in Somalia. That is according to the government of Somalia. But the Electoral Commission there, the National Independent Electoral Commission commissioner, the head of that commission, Ismail Ibrahim, said that the election could not take place, and she only gave two reasons. One, because of lack of funding, and two, the infrastructure of a universal vote. Because remember, this was the first election that Somalis were going to have a chance to actually go out there and directly, vote for their president, which has not been the case for a long period of time. So when you see the reasons that the Electoral Commission is giving, and when you see the reasons that the government of Somalia is giving under President Farmajo, Musa, is there a will there by Mr. Farmajo to hold an election anytime soon?
Thank you, Miriam. A bit my audio has been really a problem, but I can go on with that. Going directly to the point, Miriam, as far as this is concerned, is that when you look at an object issue of the foreign policy, Miriam, and when you look at issues of foreign policy, Miriam, and you try to interrogate and see how, Somalia have really been so gutted to speak about issues of foreign policy when domestic policy has really been a problem to them, Miriam. And you spoke about election, which has been postponed in this perspective, Miriam. And when you see Farmajo, he has been really aggressive in studying and looking at what his neighbors are doing, Miriam, rather than what is happening in Puntland, rather than what is happening in Jubaland, rather than what is happening in Mogadishu, rather than what is happening in Kismayo, Miriam. And you remember the AMISOM mission is withdrawing from Somalia in 2021. And before that, President Donald Trump and even Biden, they have been saying that we are planning an exit strategy to ensure on how the Somali police force, the domestic army in fighting counterterrorism can be strengthened and can be given more capacity building, Miriam. And without that, even the issue of economic recovery, Kenya has been really so lenient as far as, ensuring that multilateral trade ties with Somalia is good, is ensured. But Miriam, I see Farmajo being more of having that confrontational, aggressive style of Donald Trump in approaching the neighbors, Miriam, and this is not what should be called for as far as a country which has been fighting for over 20 years in war is concerned, Miriam. Remember, since 1992, Somalia has been fighting an ideological war between capitalism and communism, the Soviet, the Cold War, Miriam. Now we've moved from ideological and geopolitical war to a more terrorism war now. Somalia has drifted downward from terrorism war now to clans war, Miriam, whereby such a big country, which was really united once with Somaliland, with Puntland, to all northern part of Africa, Miriam, has been disintegrating. You remember Somaliland declared its independence, Miriam, in 1991. Now Jubaland is in the same process whereby its president, Ahmed Madobe, is saying, we are part and parcel of Somalia, but we are not part and parcel as far as security and realigning our issues of economics is concerned. And so all these things, Miriam, and yet election is yet to be done. I feel more of presidential betrayal from Farmajo, Miriam, because he who does small things can do bigger things. You can't leave domestic policies, Miriam, and go and do bigger issues of foreign policy, Miriam. The report we are getting is that more than 400 people and 500 people are dying daily in Somalia, Miriam. The cemeteries are full to the brink due to COVID-19. And yet, even, simple issues of, instilling government protocols of preventing COVID-19 is not in Farmajo's hand. 2 days ago, Miriam, a hotel was bombed whereby 5 people were killed and other 7 were injured in Mogadishu. Are we speaking about Farmajo protecting the very population he is serving, or is he so aggressive in protecting the regional politics, Miriam? And that one cannot be done. So my humble submission is, the one and very Farmajo, he should be focused on domestic policy before foreign policy. Does Somalia have a stable and modern constitution? The answer is no. Somalia has a clan constitution which is backdated during the time of Sharmake, during the time of Siad Barre Miriam. And finally, look at the consequences before you do something. Kenya, yes, we have a maritime issue with Somalia, but before maritime issues can be solved, Miriam, in this perspective, look at what Somalia is losing when Kenya is now closing, as it has given 14-day ultimatum, Miriam, and no room for negotiations in closing the camps. Are we going to speak about more inflated humanitarian crisis as what is being occasioned in the Integral region, in Eritrean border? The answer is yes, Miriam. How Somalia is being prepared, Miriam, in accommodating the prospect inflated refugee crisis once we close these refugee camps? These are some of the issues I think Farmajo should be more concerned with. And foremost, Miriam, that election is a headache to him because it's all about clan issue, Miriam, in Somalia. I submit.
All right, Daniel, what's your take? The issues that the government of Somalia gave us, the reasons why they could not hold elections, the famine that has been caused by desert locust, COVID-19 pandemic, the war with Al-Shabaab insurgents, and the potential for a deadly civil unrest in the country. And, Musa has just reminded us the real threat there that Al-Shabaab continues to have in that country. So are these reasons legitimate, or President Farmajo is just not keen on having an election in Somalia?
Thank you, Miriam. And of course, I've been following the submissions of my good friend Musa Bihaji and Olesina Tarish with a great interest. And when you do some chronological pin-up and be able to join the dots backwards, you realize that Farmajo has not been interested in making sure that Somalia gains stability. Neither has he been of interest over bringing maybe back prosperity in terms of healthcare, in terms of rebuilding the country, like his predecessors were determined. Rather, he has been spearheading chaos. He has been spearheading anarchy. And Miriam, it goes without saying that Farmajo is not a leader who is there to oversee the people of Somalia to raise above the ashes of the civil war that has been ravaging the country since the ouster of the dictator Siad Barre, who is his uncle. Farmajo has been there mainly to be a puppet and a stooge of the Western powers who placed him there. And it is a matter of record that he has never denounced his Western-held passport. He's not fully a citizen of Somalia, but rather someone who is there to profiteer from the ravages of the civil war. And that is why he has been very keen not to bring stability in Somalia. And Miriam, for the matter of record, if you look backward and you see whatever his predecessors were doing, they were actually working hand in hand with those people who mean well to Somalia, like Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and other countries which contributed greatly in integrating their armies in the AMISOM joint forces to ensure that we wipe and annihilate Al-Shabaab from Somalia. But what Farmajo and his intelligence system has been doing is actually giving Al-Shabaab a very, very ample breeding ground for it to be able to regroup and be able to come back to be able to empower its force and be able to again grow in Somalia, because it is in record, Miriam, and this one you can always do research on it, that the government of Somalia has been sharing intelligence with Al-Shabaab. What does that mean? It means that in as much as AMISOM and other allied countries are trying to bring their forces together to fight this terrorist group, the government of Somalia, which should be on the forefront in trying to wipe up Al-Shabaab, it has been giving them conducive environment. You know, when they share intelligence, it means that Al-Shabaab will always be one step ahead of whatever AMISOM and other countries which are of interest in this battle are doing. And that is why today We see Al-Shabaab in Mozambique stronger and bolder than never before. We see Al-Shabaab, Musa has just told us that a few days ago, we had a hotel being bombed in Mogadishu. These are things that never happened when before Farmajo came into power. Al-Shabaab was on the verge of being annihilated. But what Farmajo has done is to make sure that this terrorist group comes back into Somalia and it holds a grip of the country. What essence does it have to Farmajo and his cronies? It means that with now chaos being everywhere, a state of anarchy grappling the country, it gives them a very, very conducive environment for them to profiteer from the natural resources of Somalia. And that can always be attributed to whatever is happening between Somalia and Kenya, the maritime border row. Why is it that only during the leadership of President Farmajo that Kenya has a problem with Somalia in terms of maritime border? Why is it that all these of his predecessors, more than 3 presidents, have never had a problem with the maritime border? It is because Farmajo is a stooge of the West, and they're using him to really get the resources in Somalia and also beyond, because those oil blocks in the Indian Ocean are not in the Somali territory, but in the Kenyan territory. And also Farmajo and his allies are that profiteer from the ravages of war, and that is why they're very keen not to relinquish power to a new government, a government which will also see whatever contribution it can give towards the stability and peace of Somalia. And Miriam, also, I want you to do a comparative analysis between Jubaland, Somaliland, and the entire Somalia. You'll notice that, for example, the region that is under President Madobe, it has been experiencing some relative periods of tranquility. And you would ask yourself, why now? Is it that because this region has tranquility under Madobe, why is it that now Farmajo has a problem with Madobe and the other side of Somalia that has been experiencing peace and tranquility? Is he an enemy of peace in Somalia, or is he an ally in overseeing general comeback of the country? The answer comes back, and the answer is that Farmajo is a key enemy of Somalia. And even right now, in his refusal to enable the people of Somalia to go to the ballot and elect a legitimate government to succeed him, that tells you that he's actually pushing the country to the extreme precipice that actually his uncle decades ago pushed the country, that left it into a very long-standing civil war. And if things are not brought under control very soon, we shall see the people of Somalia actually backpedaling the small progress they have made in terms of stability and peace because of the mistakes that are being done by Farmajo and his cronies in Villa Somalia. That is my submission. And also, Miriam, look at the kind of contempt they have been treating COVID-19 in Somalia. That tells you that this is not a leader who is concerned about the people, but he's so much concerned and much fixated on the resources other than looking at the welfare of the people. So that is my submission, okay. Miriam. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Daniel Wasonga. Doctor, with all this withstanding and these reasons that the government is giving as to why they were not able to hold the elections, and a new date has not been set yet because the federal state of Puntland and Jubaland and the Council of Presidential Candidates no longer recognize President Farmajo as the president of Somalia, but he cannot leave office until elections are held. But in that constitution, we're not told until how long can you stretch that phase? How long can you stay without not having an election when election date has passed? So perhaps President Farmajo is using this to his advantage. And so you wonder, is he really serious, despite of all other challenges that perhaps could be legitimate as to why they could not hold the elections? Is he really committed to having a transition there in Somalia? Doctor.
You know what? So long is a package of, or a catalog of difficulties. Somalia faces a catalog of obstacles, huge obstacles created by the government itself. If you look at the trend, how Al-Shabaab is penetrating deeper and deeper and deeper into Mogadishu, how peace is becoming more and more elusive, how Somalia has shifted into a satellite state, a state owned by other countries, used by other countries, used by the leadership of Somalia, being used by either Turkey, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, funding one wing of the Somali conflict. If you look in what is taking place in Al-Shabaab, the strength, the ammunition, the arms, the delivery, the precise knockdown of areas which matter. And compare, as Wesonga likes to do comparative politics. Look at what is happening in Mozambique, in Pemba, in Palma. The same branch of Al-Shabaab supplied with ammunition, uniforms from Saudi Arabia. The uniforms worn across the Red Sea are the uniforms that you find Al-Shabaab wearing them. We have been wondering where they get these new guns. There must be a supply route. Honestly, somewhere is a catalog. That's why I say it is a catalog, a package of obstacles. It faces several obstacles. One wonders whether these obstacles will be over and when Somalia will stabilize, be pacified, and remain a state viable in the Horn of Africa. I have to submit to this panel that it will take long for this state of Somalia to pacify itself, to be pacified, to stop being a satellite state. And it can only stop being a state once Farmajo is removed by democratic means or by force or through elimination of any nature that could bring about a peaceful Somalia. Somalia can never be peaceful when it has its foreign policy arranged, equipped, supplied from Qatar and Turkey. We have seen what Turkey has done in Libya. Comparative politics again, where Songa likes doing that. Look at it. What is Turkey and Russia doing in Libya today? They have brought in their troops. They are safeguarding oil reserves. They are taking up oil as they claim to be safeguarding a government, the real government in power in Tripoli, and another one supporting the rebels of Khalifa in Benghazi. We have seen the Russians setting other satellite offices in countries in East Africa. We shall have a topic this week. We have seen presidential candidates or the presidential hopefuls, and I always reveal things which come out true, setting Russian mafia offices in neighboring countries for their elections in 2022. If I'm wrong, God is here. I always do my hands like a Musa, like this. I don't know whether Musa does this, but me, I do this. Throw here. If I'm wrong, God. There is a presidential candidate in East African region who has set a Russian monitoring center in another satellite state in the region for his election of 2022. I have now brought a bombshell to you. Those who want to know can know. Those who don't want to know, sorry, I'm not bothered. It is up to you Kenyans to understand who that person is. And the earlier you look at it, the better for you. But if you disregard my words, God will be with you. I might not be around today, tomorrow, or the other day. But so looking at the entire Somalia axis, who has brought this problem in Mogadishu? The destabilization, disintegration of Somalia starts with Uganda being the main focus of Sector 1. The Ugandan troops did very well to secure that Sector 1. Miriam, I know you are an expert of Sector 1, Sector 2. You better remind us which sectors are where and where. Uganda, I know, controlled Sector 1, which is Mogadishu. But is there real control or real siphoning? Is there control of Sector 1 or corroboration? Is there control inside Somalia itself? In the leadership of Somalia, is there Al-Shabaab ingrained in it? Is there somebody who gives tips to Al-Shabaab of where to hit the enemies of the same people who are trying to rebuild the state? Is there someone leaking that information in Sector 1? Why is it happening in the Sector 4 or Sector 3 or Sector 5 or Sector 2? Why? I put it to the panel. And I put it to any Somali, don't insult us only. Come on board. The PIN numbers for this show is open. Come and enter here. We shall allow you to discuss with us. Don't just insult me. Me, I'm speaking. You can kill me, but I am no problem. Because you have the will as terrorists to kill other people. But I don't have the will to kill you. But I have the will to save the people of Somalia at this moment. Is there something which is wrong? Why is it that Sector 1 only, all the time, is the one in chaos? Why is it that electoral commissioners were trained in Uganda? They are in chaos. Miriam, you are one of those who announced and said how Uganda can train electoral commissioners when in Uganda boxes have not been fully opened up to today. Where did we go wrong? This is what Kenya and other agencies that are involved in Somalia should go. Instead of hopping around with briefcases that they are doing something on Somalia stupid. Stupid! And I call it as it is. What will you do? I will go away if you want. But I'm going to be hard and sincere that whether I'm here or where or wherever I am in London like I am, I will say my point. Because I say my point for Africa. I said to save my Africa. Somalia is a sick child of the Horn of East Africa. We are having a war soon. The war is coming. And don't pretend that it is not there. Don't pretend and tell people we are all right. You are all right where? How can you be all right? When you have put a man in Sector 1 who is an expansionist theorist, who wants expansion, how can you explain to me 300 Somalis dying in Tigray, in Bekele? Explain it to me today, you people, you stupid people who are talking about they know more about Somalia. Explain to me how 300 Somalis died in Tigray. How did the Somali troops find themselves in Tigray? They have been killed. They were brought back. Today, the UN has commanded Ethiopia to withdraw from Tigray. The spokesman of Tigray, TPLF, is my friend, a long-time friend, a former minister of security and a former minister of information in the previous government. Very good young man whom I taught how to do international nationalism and international solidarity. Gedi is my friend. He can't tell me a lie that there are no troops of Somali origin whom they have captured in Tigray. How did these troops reach there? Can the Somali government account for how they gave out Somalis to go and die in Tigray. These are some of the things that the partners that are in Somalia should start questioning themselves. When we want and speak on this television, we want people to come up and challenge us with facts. Don't challenge us by insulting us. Come and open. Our number is on our poster. Come in and open up and say, no, Dr. Matsanga, you are saying something wrong about Somalia. Somalia is a very good country, and we are here in Mogadishu. We are doing very well. Brothers, we want to engage you. We want to engage you. We are not isolating you. We are not condemning you. We want to talk to you. The biggest mistake that Dr. Ahmed bin Ahmed of Ethiopia made was to shake hands with Isaias Efaki. I warned you 7 months ago here, before he went, or 1 year ago. I warned you. The program can be retraced, and the production team in Nairobi can play my program. I told you the biggest problem we had is shaking a hand with a killer of Eritrea, a killer man called Isaias Efaki. He's a terrorist. We made a mistake, and Tigray, Ethiopia will never be the same. Am I wrong today? Am I wrong today? Can't I be happy about myself? You want me to praise? Who will praise me when I'm dead? You want me to keep quiet? If you don't praise me, you use my material to go and praise yourself. Shame upon you. But it's my material. There's nothing that can defeat me on international scene. I have contacts, the most important, powerful contact that you cannot defeat Matsanga on international relations. It's impossible. I'm telling you today, Kenya, and let them understand. In Tigray, the leader of TPLF is my friend. I know them because of Zenawi. I know how they suffered. I know how they covered their state. I know how they suffered with us in 1987 in London, 89 with Dr. Tedros. Apparently Tedros got a job, became a capitalist, worked with Microsoft and others. But I don't want to tell you what he did to us in London before. And I warned the people here who were expecting this COVID medicine that there will be a very dangerous scandals. Are they not happening today? Are they not happening today? So there you are. When you look at all those events, prepare yourself for a very bad disintegrating Somalia. Prepare yourself for a very bad war. Prepare for yourself. Unless Kenya quickly wraps all this and throws the ball in the hands of the United Nations Security Council. Let the permanent and non-permanent members discuss Somalia. Miriam, I submit. Let the permanent and the non-permanent at the moment forget about the stupidity of going or listening to ICJ. That is rubbish, totally rubbish, stupid, very sardonic. There is no route that will bring any solution through the ICJ, because the ICJ is already compromised. The American judge is already paid for. All those judges have houses in Doha, in Qatar, in Turkey. There is nothing there. You are waiting for zero results. You better start working now. You better not have hiccups. Kenya must begin the journey to deliver Somalia on the table of the United Nations Security Council. That is my opinion. If you have a better opinion and you went to a better university than mine, bring it. But I went to a university that teaches international relations. It's one of the best in the whole world. Mr. knows, Canterbury, have you ever failed as a man who even just to have a tutor lecturing to you in Canterbury, you don't fail international relations. Half, if there is a half a human being. Therefore, if there is anybody challenging me that these are not the things happening, we have internal factors. Why is it, if you can answer me on the panel, why is it that sector 1 is also always the problem? Why is Kismayo quiet? Why is Kismayo quiet? Why is there progress in Kismayo? And there is no progress in Mogadishu. The leader of AMISOM is a Mozambican. Why didn't he pick intelligence that part of Al-Shabaab were being exported to Mozambique? Did you know that? I know him very well. I worked with him. So you can't tell me I don't know him. I know his double standards. Why didn't he pick intelligence that there was something happening in Pemba, in Cabo Delgado? Stupid. You Africans don't want to tell the truth. Mr. Madeira is a Mozambican. And you tell me Madeira did not know that there was something going to happen in his own country. And you have a group of Al-Shabaab growing up in Mozambique. Ah, Jamen, you mudanganya watoto, not me. There's that saying in Kenya that ndugu yangu wacha danganya watoto. I don't know, Miriam can speak it better than I hear. Danganyanga watoto napana sisi. Mr. Madeira was a minister of intelligence during Chisano's government. I know how he works. He's a double standard fella. He's a double standard. He likes money like hell. Madeira, whom you are putting in Mogadishu. We know how much money they picked to fail the Lord Resistance Army peace talks in Juba. And this is the money you moved directly. Danganya watoto. Someone has told me to say so. Msidanganye watu. This is a man in Mogadishu. How on earth are you going to stabilize that government? Why is it that Uganda is so much interested in Madeira? What happened? We almost lost the peace talks in Juba. And I want my people here to understand me. I'm not against Somalia. I'm not against Somalis. I am not. I'm fighting for you to see the faults of why your system, your country will never be stable. During the Juba peace talks of the Lord Resistance Army, Madeira was the representative of Mozambican government. We suffered. He could sneak and go to Kampala to pick huge amounts of dollars, come to divide the peace process, the delegation, until we found out we almost left him in the bush. And you know what I mean. You know what I mean, all of you. He's lucky. He's now there. Ask Lieutenant Colonel or Colonel, I don't know whether Brigadier Colonel Mohammed, who was on the peace process, a Kenyan intelligence officer attached. Several of them were attached there. Ask them about Madeira, who's leading the AU mission in Somalia. Stupid. Let's be honest. We are brewing a war. A war is coming here. Let's prepare for it as Kenyans and East Africans. The ruling in September, which is not very far, when you hear some official Minister of Foreign Affairs talk, that is the guy. I know him. He can't even stand in my face. I tell you, he can't even talk to me one sentence. In any conference, I tell him you are rubbish. Go and learn your English. He's a thief. These are thieves that you have paraded as diplomats. What are they doing? They are doing Uganda's bidding. Now you tell me Kenya should sit quiet and watch such a man saying that he's the leader of AMSOM. But he's a leader of one faction in AMSOM. When you hear that Somalis are going to Uganda to train on how to steal votes, you go to Uganda to train an electoral commission media official to do what? It is like, you know, Miriam, at times I talk, and let me talk, because I might not have time in the future to talk. When you look at the Uganda of Bob Wine, you tell Bob Wine, you want to go to an election to do what? What will you do? You will get MPs. What will they do? Do you know how to write a foreign policy? No. Do you know how to govern a country? No. So you leave the rest to all of you to make your judgment. I don't want to criticize and then they turn on me. I wish them good luck. If you don't have a way of how a government functions, how can you function? You need battle-hardened men. You need men who can speak with flavor of leadership. They mean charisma. If I'm wrong, Tawish, if you don't have charisma, Mandela had a voice, a soft voice, but he had charisma. Any leader must have charisma. Museveni murmurs and mimics because of his therapy, speech therapy. But he has charisma. He has the material. But you can't have a material when you don't have it. You simply say our people have been killed, So what? You can't be crying to the international community all the time. They want nothing a subject called international relations, except international interest. That's why you see Kenya has written to United Kingdom to look at their list. And I am now officially, unofficially, I'm not an official of the British government. I have sources. I'm a member of Institute of Strategic Studies. I am a member of, you cannot take it away from me, stupid. Sorry. Unfortunately, you can't do anything. And these debates come to Chatham House. Most of us debate and put our positions. And as a result, this has embarrassed the British system. They are climbing down, removing countries that have kept the SOPs. Kenya has kept SOPs. Why do you include them in the countries where there are no SOPs? And that's why we matter on this planet. We make opinion and the countries follow, not because you work for them. Our opinion, my opinion, as a member of the Institute of Strategic Studies, is better than an opinion of a foreign minister in Africa. Because it shapes, honestly, it shapes the direction of a superpower. What do you shape? What are you shaping? What? What are you shaping if you cannot know that you are going to allow importation of Sputnik? Is it Sputnik or Sputnik? What is the correct pronunciation? Miriam, Sputnik? Am I right?
Sputnik. Sputnik V. Mm-hmm.
Sputnik V, you import it. Mm-hmm. Surely you are in the midst of foreign affairs. You can't know that importing Sputnik V to bring it to Kenya will create a bad blood between Nairobi and London. Surely, now you blame yourselves. There you are. So let's continue with my position is Somalia is disintegrating. The reasons are both internal and external. The external reasons is Somalia is being used as a satellite state. And most, just as Libya is now being used as a satellite state. If we are not careful, we are going to end up in war. My recommendations are: one, take Somalia to the United Nations Security Council table. Let the permanent 5 and the other members, non-members, decide the fate of Somalia. 2, prepare for a war in Indian Ocean. It will be there. While Kenya is seeking diplomatic channels, Somalia is rearming itself with arsenal from Turkey, the latest planes of Air Force, to strike at Kenya at will. While Kenya is being brotherly, Somalia is engaging itself in an uncoordinated troop movement, sabotaging, equipping Al-Shabaab to attack Kenya. Somalia has become a haven for the bad deeds of Al-Shabaab. Eritrea arms Al-Shabaab. Al-Shabaab killers and go back to Eritrea. Saudi Arabia is a conduit of arms and the uniforms that have now been captured in Zimbabwe through Mozambican fighters who have been arrested and captured and surrendered to the forces in Zimbabwe, and that I have evidence. So let it come out. I rest my case.
Doctor, thank you so much. And you brought in the issue of Turkey. And in December 2020, a letter to the Turkish government, opposition politicians urged Turkey to stop a planned sale of arms to special unit in Somalia, police force, and that received orders from the executive branch of government. So Turkey, despite Somalia as it is right now, nobody's supposed to be bringing any arms in Somalia, but Turkey had plans to bring more arms there in Somalia. So there's also an issue of external interference there in Somalia. But the political crisis regarding the elections, I say, have diverted Somalia leaders from their security responsibility, hence giving militant groups an opportunity to carry out attacks, as was seen earlier in March, where Al-Shabaab raided the main prison there in Somalia, releasing dozens of inmates affiliated to the militant group. So despite of the gains that have been made in the fight against Al-Shabaab, Somalia not having an election and the other issues that are now there, is this going to jeopardize the gains that have been made in terms of trying to bring stability there in Somalia and trying to just have the security of the country in order? And will that jeopardize even our own security and other countries that have suffered the insecurity that has befell Somalia? Douglas.
Before Douglas comes in, I would like to tell Mr. Wasame, Royal Wasame Said, can you please enter the Zoom? The Zoom number is 399-535-8320. Then the code is 503670. Mr. Wasame, allow Mr. Wasame from Mogadishu to come in. Please read our poster and date the office in Nairobi. Please, can you put the Zoom number up on our wall for Mr. Wasame? Allow him to come in from Mogadishu. Thank you very much, Mr. Wasame. Thank you, brother. Miriam, hold Douglas. Good morning, right. Mr. Wasame. Good morning, sir. Mr. Wasame said in Mogadishu, good morning. As we allow him to put on his microphone, Miriam, I will ask permission for me to deal with Mr. Wasame in Mogadishu.
All right, so as we wait for him to come, maybe Douglas would answer the question that I asked later, the insecurity there in Somalia, and the political crisis that we now see, will it affect the larger, the Horn of Africa?
Miriam, thank you for this opportunity, and also thank you for having me on the show. What we are having today in Somalia is a country that is held as a cabal, as a state by European countries and other countries who want to continue the war in honor of Africa by using Somalia as a proxy. The people of Somalia are used as a collateral damage, whereas the leaders in Vira Somalia, led by Mohamed Farmajo.
Brother Douglas, my comrade, Mr. Osame is indicating he wants to leave. So we want to hear his view, then you can combine both of them, then you hammer back. Mr. Wasame said, good morning. Yeah, unmute your phone. Unmute your phone, unmute the phone. Yeah, good morning, sir. Hey, you have unmuted again. Unmute.
Okay.
Yes, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm good, thank you for asking. I'm also would like to greet the other members in the meeting, Mariam and other members. Mr. Msanga.
Where are you speaking from, my dear brother? This television is yours, it's for Africa. Don't alienate yourself. You are an African. Come on it and tell us what is exactly going on in Somalia.
Thank you. It's mine, I know, but I would like to, before we proceed the conversation, I would like to ask you, Madam Tanga, I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
No problem. Go ahead.
Yeah, from Madam Tanga, it is not the first time I was watching this program. I always related to your program, but always I feel like it is you're always siding with Kenya when it comes to Kenya and Somalia, and it's like always you act like you are an activist and you are a fair. So what is that happening? Why is that happening?
Thank you very much for that question. My brother, I have written documents to Mr. Farimajo.
Okay.
I want to tell you, I know who you are now. I know you now. I've written documents. Most of the people in Mogadishu know me. Ask any MP, member of parliament who passed through London. They all know me. When they arrived in London, it is me who helped them to fill those forms for asylum. They found me in London. I helped them to struggle, to resettle in Streatham, in Croydon, in Mitcham, in West Ham. This is the Matanga you have been hearing about. Therefore, when I write something, I have seen a mistake. I know not writing against Somalia. I'm writing against bad habits of Africa. Since 2009, Somalia and Kenya have been good brothers. Since Kenya took the burden of making sure peace returns to Somalia, the only president who has become a problem to the whole region is only one president. Ismail, believe me or not, you will agree with me one day. Inshallah, Mungu atatupeleka in one direction.
I will not. I will not give you a go ahead, because why I'm not giving you is, according to the internal affairs of Somalia, it concerns by Somalians. Whether the president or the parliament or anything concerns Somalians is for Somalians. That is not it's not your position there. What you are speaking is not your position.
That's it. But
because this guy, wait, okay, I'm still going.
Yes.
This guy, the president, Mr. Fajo, is elected by Somali parliament. He was not elected by East African community. You understand?
Then why is he not accepted?
He was elected by Somali parliament, and
Yes.
he is elected by Somali people. So in case of this border conflict,
yes,
this border conflict is not for only Somalia and Kenya. It is for all Africa. There is a complex. It's not even in Africa. It's all the world. So we have to think. We have to talk about something what is good for the both neighboring countries. But always, and I know you are ethnicity from Uganda. You are a Ugandan national. And always I follow you speaking about Somalia and Kenya. I'm siding in Kenya. So my brother, and before we continue now, I would like to ask you, are you speaking on behalf of Kenya?
No,
now?
I am not speaking on behalf of Kenya. I'm speaking on behalf of Africa. I am a Pan-African. I have now decided, and I want to also shock you today and tell you, I've decided to choose both Somalia and Kenya to the United Nations. I want them to go before the Security Council. I am fed up with Somalia having taken the case to ICJ. I am fed up with Somalia looking at the imperialists to solve our problems when we have stayed on African continent. I am fed up as a Ugandan, and you must give me respect.
Right, from there,
no, wait.
From there, I would
no. Brother, wait. Let me finish. No, let me finish. Okay. I gave you my time to finish. I am a Ugandan. I am entitled because my brothers are 14,000 troops in Somalia. So don't tell me I have no right to talk about the people that Al-Shabaab is killing in Somalia. They are my brothers, and I have lost close relatives in Somalia. 2, Uganda is the only country on the African continent that gives you access visa on entry in internet. So I am a Ugandan. You cannot exclude me from talking about Somalia. If you try, I will fight you. If you try, I will fight you. And for us Ugandans, we don't care about you. You people threaten Kenya. You come to our place, you know what we teach you. We teach you lessons. And I'm now telling you true. I wish AU allowed us, we should have disciplined some of you.
Are you done?
Yes, I'm done. Go ahead.
All right, thank you, Matamtanga. I would like to, and you said Somalia took this case to ICJ, while we have our own African mechanism. Am I wrong? Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. Before Somalia's case, there was a case solved by ICJ between Nigeria, if I'm not wrong, not Nigeria, Cameroon, and I think it's also Nigeria and Cameroon.
Yes.
It is solved by ICJ.
Yes.
So what is so special to Somali case? Why you never talk about this case?
I do every day.
And also, just Doctor, let me help you out there. That case that was before the ICJ between Cameroon and Nigeria later was pulled out, and the two countries decided to have an outside of court settlement because they saw it will not be very good for a good neighborliness.
Thank you, Mariam. I'm talking about Bakazi case.
The Bakazi case was left. Yes. The two countries went back.
Decided
that enough is enough. They went back.
No, all I know is that the ICJ ruled on behalf of Cameroon, if I'm not wrong.
And then Nigeria said, since we are all brothers, we have been brothers for a million times. Haven't we been brothers Somalia? Haven't people in Uganda married Somalis? Haven't you married Ugandans? No, I'm asking you, younger man. Haven't we married each other? Haven't we living together for millions and millions?
That's not matter. When it comes to sovereignty, it is different. When it comes to sovereignty of that land.
Why are you killing sovereignty today? Why are you Why are you relying to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Turkey instead of relying to us who have been with you?
No, you can't ask. No, you can't ask us that question because it's our own choice. We are an independent country.
Yes,
we got a choice. Uganda got its own choice where it got this relationship with another country. We never ask you who are they going to be relationship.
Yes, but if
so
Uganda,
you don't have to ask. Listen, still you are intervening the sovereignty of our country. You are talking about our president. You are talking about who are we going to be related with.
Okay.
So it's like you are deciding who you're going to have a relationship with.
We have not. No.
Yes, and Dr.
Said, wait first before Wesonga comes in. I will educate my brother so that you continue coming to this program more times. We are not hostile as you think. You can see I'm discussing with you.
It's not about, we are not in a school. Don't just say I'm going to educate you. You can't educate me
because you should know you are educated, but you should know I am an African elder, isn't it? Don't you believe in clan elders in your home?
No, I don't believe.
You insult elders the way you want. I am an elder also. Give me time. I'm 65. Okay. You are about 32. Double my age. So please give me elder. You can marry my daughters if you find. So give me respect. Now, I am telling you, we have not, and we are not against Somalia. We are trying to say this matter of the ICJ, of the boundaries, we can sort it back in Africa. We can sit down and put investment. If the boundary is the oil, can Kenya and Somalia share the proceeds?
But I want you. You are right. You're right. I agree with you. But I want to share with you. I want to ask you. Before Somalia took this case to ICJ, do you even requested or asked Kenya to solve this issue on behalf of brotherly neighboring country?
Yes, I remember. I've been following the case.
How many times?
Over 12 times. We had even a delegation sitting down to negotiate. But external forces, and my brother Ismail, believe me.
Okay, what do you mean external forces? Can you please clarify there? What do you mean external forces?
Turkey, Qatar. Qatar is the main influence. Qatar mans your foreign policy. Qatar pays for your lawyers. Qatar, no, wait, let me mention to you. Norway pays for your lawyers. You don't have a bank. Do you have a bank today in Somalia? It has just started.
We're not talking about in that case. Just carry on.
Yes, but I am
telling Doc, what Sam is saying, before Somalia decided to go to the ICJ, Somalia had sought to have an out-of-court settlement with Kenya, but Kenya was not very serious to engage. So I think Somalia, from what Sam is saying and from what we've been talking about, I think felt that, they didn't have a choice, so they went to the ICJ. So when Kenya saw Somalia was serious about this matter, now like Kenya wanted an out of court.
It's like this, Madam Mariam, it's like this case now, yes. Madam Tanga is accusing Somalia is the problem, and Somalia is not the problem. There was there was an agreement, a Mao agreement between Kenya and Somalia, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
That agreement, it was all about to solve this problem in case of on behalf of the both neighboring countries' brother issue. So this thing Kenya takes as a chance that the next president must be a puppet president that they can control him. That's what they wanted exactly. If I clear the point.
Now.
No, Master Farmajo was not there at that time. It was another president, the former president.
It is true. Farmajo was
there's no way now you accuse Master Farmajo that he is the problem. He's not the problem. The problem is the Kenya. This thing was.
But Mr. Wasambe, is there any puppet who is more of a puppet than what we are having today in Somalia? Mr. Farmajo is the puppet of the West, and that is why we are having the problem in the Indian Ocean today. I think
to your idea, not to ours, because this country is our country. You are not going to tell us who
it is
good for us.
It is your country, but you understand that today Kenya is having a problem because of the fighting that you're having in Somalia. If you guys were able to solve your mess in Somalia without it trickling back into Kenya and Uganda, we will not be having a problem in East African community. So therefore, if you say that it is your problem and you have sovereignty, why can't you be able to tackle the issue of Al-Shabaab on your own and avoid the problems trickling into your neighboring countries? So that's why we have to come into Somalia. We have to assist you solve the mess. And that was the very basis of Operation Linda Inchi that emanated from Kenya.
I want to interrupt you. One point. You can talk about Somali's issue, but you have a boundary. You have a where you can reach. You can talk about, but you don't have as a fast interference to the Somali issue. You don't have a right at all.
Okay.
You can talk about the African Union issues. You can talk about the relationship is between Kenya and Somalia, or the relationship Kenya and Uganda and Somalia, maybe. But if you talk about our president and you say he's a puppet, you are not the one who chose. You are not Somalian at all.
But he's an African president.
He's African president. But the way you are talking is like he's a puppet for West. You want him to be a puppet for Kenya.
The policies that President Farmajo makes actually affect its neighbors, and we are its neighbors, and we cannot sit pretty and watch Mr. Farmajo destroy a good country, a country that is being brought back to on its foot. And Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and other allied states have been paying a price for all this anarchy that has been going on in Somalia.
Okay.
So I think
I would like you to separate the countries. We don't have a problem with Ugandan. No, I want to correction. I want to correct you there.
Yes, okay.
We don't have a problem with our brothers, Ugandan brothers, and we don't have a border conflict at all.
Okay.
We don't have a problem with other neighboring countries, except Kenya. And Kenya is just recent and about these issues of border conflict. And it's not only Somalia and Kenya. As I told you, it's every country in the world, it is border problem.
Okay.
So this thing, if we are solving as an African issue, as an African brotherly mind, we don't have a problem with it. But is Kenya ready for it? That is the question.
Is Kenya ready for it? Okay, Musa, answer Warsame.
Thank you. And assalamu alaikum, my brother Warsame. It's a pleasure having you online today. And the concerns you aired, Brother Warsame, is well justified. And you spoke about the issue of sovereignty, of which even Dr. Matsanga and everyone in this forum agrees with. But Brother Warsame, I know and I understand, because I'm also part and parcel as far as, this community, the values we share all the way from Somalia to northeastern Kenya is the same. And my brother, you've said very correctly that we have history. Every country has an history of boundary disputes. This issue predates even during the time of independence. You remember the war on NFD, Dr. Warsame, Brother Warsame, you recall how the issue really even attracted a lot of, issues, from global superpowers. But now, my humble submission to you is that Kenya and Somalia, we share a lot of relations, Brother Warsame, from trade ties, from economic relation to and I felt like maybe why do Somalia, the Federal Republic of Somalia, had to prioritize the maritime issue with all its sensitivity, Brother Warsame, with all its cases, and all its, complexity? We had a lot of issues to speak about. We had priorities on how we can talk about humanitarian issue, Brother Warsame, on the issue of, Kakuma, Dadaab, and how people, the Kenyan government and the Human Rights, Refugees Human Rights Commission for United Nations spoke about voluntary return to Somalia. Kenya and Somalia have a lot of issues to discuss. And even the case of Jubaland, I know Al-Shabaab is only in Jubaland. And you've really tried your best with the help of international communities and even AMISOM to support Al-Shabaab. Congratulations to you. We have trade ties, Brother Warsame, but I felt and I was shocked at the urgency in which Somalia took the matter. It was very and highly escalated case, Brother Warsame. In no matters, in no time, we were just speaking about negotiations and speaking at African Union Court. The next day, we were shocked to see everything going to Hague. And when on this side of Kenya, we were speaking about the influence of Turkey, the influence of Qatar, we felt like it's only an external force which can really, negate such kind of speedy action. What I mean by speedy action, already something is disputed. When something is disputed, Brother Warsame, and even in international law, we have to hear from both parties. But that was not the case. The Kenyan side felt more of, unilateral approach by the Federal Republic of Somalia in this case. As the issue was taken so much abruptly by, International Court of Justice. I know we have a lot of agreement in place, issues being spoken, but why maritime? Why maritime? And even the way you saw yourself, Norway, and even France having a stake in this, let us not lie, Brother Warsame, Somalia has no capabilities and power to explore oil beds and exploration in the Indian Ocean. We are a third world country. Even as we are speaking currently in Kenya, the Tullow company, we are being helped by the Canadians and the Britons in exploring our oil. So I was shocked at what capability does Somalia have to have a sea exploration of these gas and oil exploration in the Indian Ocean. And so let us not reject the presence of external power. And definitely one power which has already came out very boldly speaking on behalf of Somalia was the case for Norway. And Kenya felt isolated. Britain is not talking on our behalf. Neither is the United States of America, neither any developed country. And now we've already seen a developed nation in the name of Norway, a foreign power, taking side with Somalia. And these are some of the reasons which made Kenya to withdraw. Making my final submission, Brother Warsame, and you are also a human being. We should be reasoning together in this as diplomats, because there is no way Ethiopia is going to come to be our neighbor, the place Somalia is, or there is no way or no day in this world Senegal is going to be our neighbor. We are going to be neighbors forever and eternity. The problem is, Brother Warsame, if today you see President Uhuru Kenyatta leaving the country, maybe let's say there are a lot of poverty, people are fighting, and going to be forecast with issues of Museveni, that will not be beating the logic. And so be it in Somalia, Brother Warsame. You have elections. AMISOM is having a plan of withdrawing from Somalia come 2021 and leave the Somalians to decide for themselves in issues of security. Why is it that President Farmajo is so aggressive in pursuing foreign policy, Brother Warsame, rather than pursuing domestic policy, which shall strengthen even the relation with the country? You remember very well, Somalia showed an intention to be a new entrant into East African community. Very soon, they have already written a letter to show the expression. And now you want to be the part and parcel of East African community, Brother Warsame, and yet the manner in which Somalia is pursuing its foreign policy is confrontational, is in protectionist manner, and is much more in, provocative manner rather than, that diplomatic engagement as we are speaking on this. So I'm shocked. Instead of being focused on, domestic policies in Somalia, President Farmajo has decided to uptake and to upscale and de-escalate this issue with the neighboring country that is Kenya, Brother Warsame. I submit.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. I would like to you have talked about different parties of the issues and parties of African Union, parties of the sea and borders. So I would like to start my speech with a border conflict or the maritime border with Kenya. First, as everyone knows, Somalia have a long history about border conflict with its neighbors. And this conflict caused by the colonialists. You announced the issue of NFT. And as everybody believes, or even the Kenyan citizens, I'm talking about the honest or the goodwill people. They know Somalia is not recognized these borders and this and colonized borders. So I would like to say Somalia took this case to ICJ because of the long problems of the border of Ethiopia. As everybody knows, the problem, what happened in 1977, Somalia and Ethiopia, and what happened in 1960 in Kenya and Somalia border, thereby you call shift the war. But as we believe they were liberating frontier people. So according to this case took as we believe, as Somalians we believe, it took a long time, from 2009 to up to date. It has been a long time to solve this issue. And as I told you, Kenya was not fair about this case. Because Somalia, there was no faction in the government at that time. And this agreement called by Mao, as we believe, it was a plot. It was not actually a bilateral agreement. It was a plot brought by Kenya to Somali people. So, according to the international law, we believe and we are happy with the outcome of this, the result, the outcome ruling by the ICJ. We are happy with it. So why Kenya is running about that? If this land belongs to Kenya, or if Kenya is the rightful for this land, why from ICJ? Why are they to negotiation? Because it's not, we are not the first countries that ICJ is ruling by the case.
Brother Watsame.
Okay. Yes.
How would you feel? My final submission is, how would you feel when the chairperson for United Nations Non-Permanent Member Security Council shall be Uhuru Kenyatta, and he takes up this case and decides maybe unilaterally that Somalia does not have the border. Somalia does not have a case on these, on this question. That is the same way the Kenyan government is feeling with the former president, the outgoing president of International Court of Justice, your guy who is a Somalian, who is a Somali national. And so there is that conflict of interest that Kenya felt in one way or another, it's going to implicate the outcome of this decision, Brother Warsame. And
on that point, I would like to interrupt you. I would like to interrupt you on that
for
point.
Africa,
I'm sorry.
And
I'm sorry.
the case being taken to International Court of Justice. If indeed this maritime border had no foreign affairs or foreign interest or foreign intervention, then it could have been decided at African Court of Justice, Brother Warsame. Let us not doubt ourselves. The African Court of Justice and the AU, I know it's growing.
No, on that point, there is no on that point, I would like to say
issues of Africa solving the African case. President Farmajo should be aware. The International Court of Justice has never implicated the generals who killed the poor Croatians and Serbians in 1992 Kosovo War. No European had ever been vindicated or convicted in International Court of Justice. Go to Western countries, Brother Warsame. Never has it happened. Even with International Criminal Court, it's the likes of Democratic Republic of Congo. So what made President Farmajo, an African president, believe that an African problem will be solved by a unilateral international court of justice. We should be aware that if indeed this case could be solved, Brother Watsame, we have the African Court of Justice. AU is really growing. The other day, AU took a very, positive establishing a free trade agreement. We are going somewhere. I felt like the federal government of Somalia was more of an alarmist. It took more of an alarmist approach by taking the case to ICJ. We have a lot of boundary issues. We have a lot of concerns as far as this is concerned. Kenya has a border problem with South Sudan, the Elemi Triangle. We have...
Musa.
All right.
Musa, let me come in.
Musa, I would like to interrupt you on that point.
Yes,
we have to end now.
Yes. We have very little time. We have very little time.
No, Musa announced it. I would like to say one word about Musa's comment about the president of the ICJ.
Musa, hold on. Musa, hold on. Let's hear now. Let's hear Watsame. You have 1 minute to say what you want to say. We want to control time.
All right, thank you, Madam Zanga. Musa announced that the outgoing president of the ICJ was the Somalian.
Yes.
So, as everybody knows, the charge, there were 8 people, 8 churches. So Kenya requested to add 1 more on behalf of Kenya. So the court made 9 people. The charges are 9 now. On behalf of Kenya, they add 1 extra more charge. So why are they still complaining?
Listen, they recycled Mr. Abdalakwi Yusuf.
He's part of the judges.
He's part of the judges.
He is.
Why?
But Kenya requested
so there's an issue.
1 more charge.
Why?
1 more charge on behalf.
Mr. Watsame,
Watsame,
you don't feel there is a conflict of interest there?
No, I don't see any conflict of interest.
Oh, yeah, no.
Because why I'm saying that is,
okay. All right,
no,
now we have to end this show.
Miriam,
all right.
Miriam, let me tell Watsame.
Kenya,
Watsame, we wanted to engage you more. And we are going to bring another topic on Somalia. Watch out for now you have our point, our entry identification number. All the time, book to come in and give us more ideas. You see, we have interacted a lot. You are learning quite a lot of things from us, and we are learning something from you. But
you are right.
The question of that Judge Abdalakwi Yusuf, I am the one who moved to court and wrote for Abdalakwi Yusuf to excuse himself. I went to the ICJ myself and I said, you are a Somali judge, you are presiding president, you cannot be on this panel. Now what he did, he went and bribed the other judges and they went back to the statute. He has already made a ruling and is sitting on the statute. How can Kenya sit on the same and be judged by the same man? Do you know the father of Abdalakwi Yusuf is the clan leader and advisor of Farmajo? I know the father myself.
On that boy,
No. Boss, you don't know anything. I know the father of Abdalakwi. I know Judge Abdalakwi himself personally. I know his house in Belgium, where he drives to have a pint of beer. He claims to be Muslim. He drinks beer. Yeah, you know, I have not told you much about this judge. I don't want to tell you much here, but I will call you and tell you more about him. This is a very dangerous guy.
Argument, I would like to say, Madam Zanga, before you leave the panel, I would like to inform you. The first oral argument between Kenya and Somalia on the ICJ, I said Kenya requested 1 more church upon the 8th church of the court on behalf of Kenya, because they accused this Somali guy, they said he is siding Somali. They need 1 more church in the church. So the court accepted and make the church 9. They make 9. How if you? I don't know if you are aware or not.
I am. And then
So,
you recycled.
Why are they still complaining about the decision?
You brought Abdallah Yusuf on the panel. Wasami. They brought Abdallah Yusuf on the panel. Instead of bringing an extra judge from another country, they brought this lumpen, this dangerous man, the man who made things very difficult, the man who allowed Kenya and Somalia to fight. And his father.
That's your idea. That's your idea. I can't give you go ahead. I can't give you go ahead.
No, you will give me a go ahead. Can you also now, as you are online here, I want to provoke your mind so that we talk next time. Has Farmajo shown you the cancellation of the American passport?
No.
Yeah, ask him, because I know who you work for.
Why are you always busy about Farmajo? Why are you busy about Farmajo? Farmajo is our president. We are elected.
You saw me picking this phone. I was checking
on that
you.
Point, I think
I know who
on that point you are wrong, Matthew.
You work for the external intelligence of. That's very good. But ask Farmajo to do one thing for me. Show you a letter. Wait. Show me a letter of an American cancellation of the passport. Show me. Let him show you. Farmajo is an American. He's a liar.
Let me tell you.
Yes.
Master Farmajo is our president.
But he's American. He's your American president.
It won't show good point for me to always to keep repeating about Uhuru or even Museveni. It is just a wasting of time. Just visit your president.
As you got an American passport underlined.
There is nothing related with you about Farmajo. Farmajo is our president.
I took time to check you, and I love you. I love you to be on our show. I have checked who you are. You are the man intelligence in Mogadishu. Welcome. We shall be teaching you every day. In fact, we have been looking to teach such people like you. Come on the show. We shall give you more education. Maybe you will change and remove that director of intelligence from his job. He's from Qatar. No, he's from Qatar. Why don't go and tell your boss today, go return the Qatar passport and return the Kenyan passport that you have. Then you come and talk to us. He's from Qatar. That's the director of intelligence. Your boss.
No, it's still your entrepreneur now first. It's like
you are your boss, my friend. You're a very good friend of mine. Now I've discovered who you are. Welcome to the show. Welcome to this show.
I'm sorry, Matamtanga.
You welcome to this show. I like you now. Be opening, coming. I will welcome you. And when we meet in London,
all right, Madam Tanga, my last comment, I would like to ask you a personal question.
Yes, go ahead. I will never get annoyed.
As I read from your story, you're originally from Uganda, and you never go back to Uganda. Your country has been ruled by one person over 30 years, and you never talk about it. What's so special for Farmajo and Somali?
In fact, you know why? The truth is that I don't like the type of leadership, the style, the substance of President Kaguta Museveni. That's point number one. I disagree with him on how he rules Uganda. But I don't want my Uganda to have war. I am a peacemaker.
You don't want Uganda to get in war. You want Somalia to get in war.
You asked me. Part of the problem why you came in and got annoyed is Museveni is teaching Farmajo bad manners. The special forces, you know it. You are a senior intelligence officer in Somalia. The special forces are the ones guarding Farmajo every day. And you know that among those boys, there is two relatives of Matanga. I hear everything. You think I don't know? I know everything that Farmajo does.
No, but you consider. You have to consider.
Museveni is teaching listen.
Okay.
Listen, my brother. Museveni has taught Farmajo bad manners to stay in power. He has even taught him tactics.
No,
yeah.
we look. We want Farmajo to stay over 20 years like Museveni. What?
No. Farmajo,
that's not your problem. It's our problem.
Farmajo is a sellout. Farmajo, you know, Farmajo calls me kafir. Why does he call me kafir? You want me to cry tears? Then I kneel before him when he has called me kafir. He told. Okay, can I tell you one secret before you go? Who is Dr. Abidi? Zakaria Abidi. Who is Zakaria Abidi? Who is Zakaria Abidi?
It's a Somali intelligence. Why should you concern about it?
Answer me. Who is Zakaria Abidi?
He's a Somalian.
Yes.
What else you want?
He's in Vira, Somalia. Go and ask him about the man he fears most. It is me. I want him to accompany. Yeah, go and ask him today. You are a very senior intelligence officer. I have already got your notes here. Thank you very much.
Go
and ask him today.
You have to worry about your Ugandan people, because over 10 years that guy is happy.
What can I worry?
Mr.
Bring it on the panel. Let's talk about it. Bring on the panel.
Let me finish with this guy. I worry about Uganda about what? Uganda did an election. Museveni stole an election.
Never go to election. Uganda is ruled by one person over 30 years.
Museveni stole an election. Do we die because he stole an election?
You don't want to die. Do you want to die, Somalian? Do you want Somalia to get in war?
Because we wanted to liberate you. You have very bad brains.
Liberate from who? Liberate from who?
We want to change you. We want to change you. Look at the way you are very good, well-organized man in London. You educated yourself in London with English. You speak very well.
No,
but there are some who are very crooked.
I'm sorry. I'm in Somalia. I'm speaking you right now from Mogadishu.
Yes, and you are a very good man. But there are some who are very treacherous, who are killing people. So you wanted us to leave them kill people?
Those ones are even in Kenya and Uganda. Don't charge all people at once. There's people who are killing people in Kenya. There's people who are killing in America. Everywhere.
I love you.
Don't just
one
basket.
You know why, Wasame, why I like you. I want you to be coming on my show every day. Africa will rise and shine again.
But you have to, you have to be fair about Somalia. You have to be fair.
I want you to bring.
I see you, Masam Tanga. You always criticize.
I know who has given you instructions. I know he's my friend. He knows me. He fears me. He's there. The director of intelligence of your country fears me. He told you to come on the show. It's all right.
No,
come on the show. I want you to be no. I want you to be coming on the show. I will educate you, and you will be my friend forever. We shall shine and rise as Africa. We love you, Somalia. Uganda loves you. That's why we die there. That's why my brothers are dying there.
Matam Zanga, where is my flag? I don't see on the back of your side my flag.
In fact, I want you to put it on DHL to arrive here in London. Unfortunately, for delivery, can I give you? Can you give deliver it in today? I am ordering this from Nairobi. Your flag will be behind here.
All right, thank you, Matam.
And don't fear to come on the show.
I would like to thank other participants, Mr. Musa and Ms. Mariam. Thank you very much.
And there is Tawish, there is Shoni Wesonga, there is Dr. Douglas, there is Douglas Kirimi. I want to give you Douglas Kirimi to greet each other.
All right.
Douglas, can you greet Wasami? He has been a good debater. Don't hit him so hard, but remain sober. Douglas, go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Masanga. And Wasame, for a young person like you to continue helping and aiding a dictator in power in Mogadishu, in Vira, Somalia, a cabal of leaders who continue paying you peanuts and handouts to continue aiding their people in power today, to continue defranchising the people of Somalia and helping them to continue using the people of Somalia as collateral damage in the whole proxy war in Indian Ocean. It is very wrong. And another thing, my brother, you are a Muslim, and I trust Muslims are people who fear God and the people that uphold integrity from the soul. Remember, my brother, the flag of your country, the soul of your country, the sovereignty of your country is safe. Nobody wants to interfere with that. When the people of goodwill in the world like ourselves continue speaking and talking about the people of Somalia, we have nothing to gain. We have nothing to gain rather than to see the country liberated, and you people pacify your own peace in the country and also get the refugees, over 400,000 refugees in our, them back into meaningful work in your country. Wait, my brother. You keep interrupting people so that they cannot make meaningful contribution. You are an apologist of Mohamed Farmajo in Somalia, a man that is to be removed in power so that the people of Somalia can have peace. Mohamed Walsame, listen.
It's like you are hot, boss.
Needs you to build your own country. Listen. Give me time. I didn't interrupt you, my brother. Give me time.
Wasame, listen.
I'm greeting you, Wasame. I have not hit you today. I will hammer you another time. So relax, my brother. Relax, my brother. You cannot interrupt me when it's my time to speak, my brother.
Wasame.
Wasame, relax so that I can greet you, my brother.
Allow me to come in, please.
Wasame. Let him finish. Not your points. We shall.
But I don't know who am I speaking to. I don't know who am I speaking to. He just say my country, but I don't know who is he.
You are speaking to Douglas. You are speaking to Mr. Douglas Bundi.
I want to see Mr. Douglas. I want to see, or shift the mic, please.
You will see me some other time, Mohamed Walsame. Don't worry. I mean to make a point and greet you, my brother. Listen, the people of Somalia needs their country back from the cabal of leaders from Vira, Somalia. And Mohamed Farmajo, Abdurai Mohamed Farmajo, the nephew of Siande Barre, needs to be told the truth, Wasame. Listen, the debate cannot continue where you're interrupting me. That country should get back to their own. To get their country back, take the refugees across the world, people who have gone to Rwanda, Norway, everywhere, so that they can build their own country.
Douglas.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Masanga.
No, Douglas. So, Mr. Wasame, your face, so that joke.
And you should tell him you're a Kenyan when you're talking about the refugees. And for your information, Mr. Wasame, Mr. Farmajo has a house in Lavington.
Wasame wants to see your face.
Wasame, kindly allow me as well to say hi to you, please.
Can you now talk to your face? You can see.
Master Matanga, I was thinking this Ban Africans is for African community, but I really.
That aside, my brother Wasame. How are you, my brother Wasame?
For Africa, nobody wants to discriminate you.
Since I was talking to Kenyans because Master Musa is from Kenya. This guy is from Kenya. Who else?
Now there he is. Have you seen him? There he is. That's no, no, that is Douglas.
You see this is Master Matanga. I see Master Matanga. I don't.
Why are you interrupting me, Mohamed Wasame, when I'm speaking to you? Why do you want to interrupt me? I need to greet you, my brother.
I interrupt you. First, you have to introduce yourself and where you are from. Then you can continue.
You're interrupting me when I'm greeting you. You have no cut in your debate, my brother. I want to greet you.
You started just
and Douglas, you should remind Mr. Wasame should know that as you are speaking, Mr. Farmajo is just here the next door here in Lavington. He's not even in Somalia
I like the way Mr.
Wasame, why would Farmajo issue threats to us when he's living in Lavington? He cannot live in Mogadishu himself.
Master Msanga, I don't hate Kenyans because I know even Master Musa is from Kenya. So it's like the way Douglas is speaking is like aggressive and he wants Justice to criticize for nothing. I just wanted to listen for when he's the mindset. Justice might tell me something.
Actually, you should not. Actually, there shouldn't be any reason for you to hate Kenyans, my brother. How are you, Wasame?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for asking.
This is one of those Kenyans you wanted really to know. I'm one of the panelists in these programs at Punchline Africa TV. Tawish Ole Sosina. But again, I've been watching closely.
Just say Ban Kenyan, Ban Kenyan forum. Don't.
Pan-African Forum, yes. What I wanted to say is that I've listened to you, and of course the most of the discussion that you've had on this show, and I think it is very important for us not really to deviate from the core reason why we're having this program in the first place. It is not about creating rifts. It's not about creating enmity. It's about bolstering our amongst the nations in Africa, amongst the brothers and sisters who, by default, actually found themselves that they are in this continent. And I think that is one thing we should appreciate. Currently, we're having these issues, the diplomatic, of course, row between Kenya and Somalia. We're having this war also, the war against Al-Shabaab in Somalia. You understand it. Challenges in Somalia, including, of course, the failure to conduct an election. I've been listening to you keenly, and the fact that maybe, say, for example, President Museveni has not been able or has outstayed in power is not reason enough, or it does not justify the fact that maybe Somalia cannot have an election just yet, or it doesn't justify the fact that Farmajo is delaying that election in Somalia. I think we need to be objective in this debating. And also when you look at the maritime dispute between Kenya and Somalia, there has to be an amicable way on how we should find a solution to this. We have to actually deteriorate the relationship between Kenya and Somalia. And in case we need one another, we need to continue staying together as brothers and sisters, as we have always been. So let not this boundary dispute actually be the reason or an anchor upon which we are going to create the rift between Kenya and Somalia, or any neighboring country to Somalia. I think it is very, very important. We should look into it in as much it should be solution oriented. It doesn't have to be stretching too far or finding the differences too much. It is about how we can come closer, how we can find an amicable solution to the confusion that we are having at the moment. If there are any impediments, if there are any hurdles, if there are any external forces, how can we work towards finding a solution to the problems that we are having, one, as neighbors, second, as a continent of Africa, so that even as we engage the external forces, the foreign internationals or the Western power countries, our interests have been safeguarded in the first place. I think that is where we need to take this debate, my brother. Even as we welcome you to these programs continually to join us, I think that is very, very important for you to underscore. So it is not about enmity. It is not about that people of Kenya hate Somalians. As you well know, they never hate Somalians. We have demonstrated that before, and we continue to do that. One, by coming into Somalia to try and see how we can pacify Somalia. You know that through AMISOM. Second is about, of course, we are also hosting the refugees. As Kenyans, we are hosting the refugees who mostly ran away from Somalia because of, one, instability and lack of peace, and of course the kind of that has been caused by the Al-Shabaab in Somalia. So it will be in your interest to see into it, one, how this Al-Shabaab can be wiped out. So if we want to worsen the relationship
on that point, I would like to interrupt you. I'm sorry. Because on African Union troops in Somalia.
Yes.
As we believe, the legal African Union in Somalia by legally are Ugandans, Ethiopians, Djiboutians, Burundians, Kenyans. They say they entered without the allowance of Somali government, and later on they were coded by the African Union.
I think that is
we can't just tell you, we can't just I can't prove you just Kenyans they are held in Somalia. They stay for their interest.
I don't think Kenya is in Somalia as an independent entity. They are all there under AMISOM. That is what I believe, unless you have a contrary view like you're trying to raise. But I do not believe that Kenya has went to Somalia because of their own interests. It's more of actually under AMISOM.
They go without allowance. Just go on.
Maybe that is a view that some of you are holding, and perhaps that is why we are stretching this problem that you're having too far.
Don't just say some. We are Somalians. We are the Somalians.
Wasame, why are you interrupting everyone when we want to make a point? You want to keep interrupting everyone. You are an apologist of Mohamed Farmajo. And why are you not giving anyone an opportunity to be able to speak?
If there is nothing you can pay, if there is nothing you can pay to Kenya and the rest of the, African countries that are helping to actually bring sanity back to Somalia, please just be grateful and stop saying that Kenya is there illegally or Kenya is not there under AMISOM or such kind of.
No, I just wanted to correct.
I don't think that is just a bit
all.
diversionary, my brother.
But Tarwish, by the
Our this guest, gentlemen, I want to bring this debate to an end. Why? I would like Mr. Wasami to be back every day when you have time, when other topics on Africa are involved, so that you learn we don't only concentrate on Somalia. We talk about the war in Mozambique. We talk about Boko Haram in Nigeria. We talk about the war in Libya. We talk about the war in the Central African Republic. We talk about the war in Southern Sudan. We talk about the war in Tigray. We want to ask you, why do you allow your senior operative in the government of Somalia? Why did you allow Somali troops to go to Tigray? They have been found, they are captured there. Yesterday I was speaking to the spokesman of Tigray, TPLF. He said there are Somali troops captured here to be exchanged to Red Cross. Why did you allow them to go there? Why are you playing a host to conflict? So I want you to be coming back. I want you to be coming back on serious.
I would like to answer that.
Yes.
I would like to answer if you
as we finish.
And I would like to remind you, Kenya and Somalia and Ethiopia, there is a party of Kenya and there's party of Ethiopia that Somalia are decided. And that Somalians, there is a tribes in their country, in the country. So if the Kenyan Somalian from Mandera as a soldier is devoted to Mombasa, is he from Somalia? They are from Somalian Ethiopian. They are from Jijiga, they are from their provinces there. So don't charge us. Or if you wanted to charge us, bring all those Somalians to Somali.
The UN is investigating Farimajo. So don't worry about those troops, how they ended up through Eritrea to Tigray. And I promise you now, Wasabi, I'm gonna look for you. I have already got your telephone number. I'm going to be calling you so that you can be coming on your online all the time. So don't worry, you're a very good man and you have found another senior operator in the world. We shall be talking very good politics and make more Somali people to come on our show so that we can have a better Africa. Maybe the perception that we have change. Honestly, if you don't talk to us, we might think all of you are not very good people. But we can see well-shaven, well-educated, well-organized, well-built body. I don't know, you go to the gym somewhere in Somalia, you look so fit as a very senior person who has just come back from Turkey training. You know, you are training in Turkey a few months ago.
But on that point, I would like to inform you and other panels that I'm just a normal civil person. I'm not a senior CID or whatever. Yeah, I want to
thank you. In fact, we might make you our correspondent in Mogadishu. And you'll be bringing the latest news coming from Mogadishu. Don't forget about these other topics of Somalia. We want to know how COVID is affecting people in Mogadishu, COVID-19. We want to know how hunger is killing people. We want to know how people are living in Mogadishu. It's not because of Somalia and the Kenya border only. Please, forget about that. That was the only topic today.
All right,
so we need you. We need you as our correspondent. Don't run away from us. Don't turn on us. We like you as good African. We like everything from Somalia is the best including women. We want them to intermarry with other African tribes. So we want you to marry like you have married the other Ugandans. We want you to be very good people.
I hope that depends on the choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please. So we want you to be our correspondent. We want you to be telling us what is happening in Somalia. Exactly. Why is there no peace? Why is there slow? I believe you are also an enemy of Al-Shabaab like we are.
Now everybody is those who are killing people for no reason.
Yes. So we want you to be with us. Don't fear. That number we have told you is our number. Always pumping. We shall allow you to when you have time to make your contribution. Thank you very much.
Right.
Thank you very much this afternoon. Thank you. God bless you. We have stretched this program beyond because of you being our guest on this show. God bless all of you. God bless Musa Abdi Haji Dido from Isiolo, Tawish Olesisana from Nairobi, and Shoni Wesonga from Nairobi, from the Political Command Center in. Thank you very much. I am Dr. David Matanga, and thank you very much.
I would like you, Matanga, I want to add one point. I would like you to expand the forum to other Africans, because now I just feel like we are in East Africans only.
Okay. I want you to call as many. I'm calling me. You become our Mogadishu correspondent. You can tell us, don't tell us things that can put you in trouble. Tell us what you know. If there is COVID medicine, is it available to every Somali? How many people are dying on a daily basis because of COVID-19? We want to know quite a lot of other things. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. This station, therefore, is for Africa with Africa by Africa. Ciao. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Kenya's going to ICJ brings more chaos than tranquility in the region. The Kenya's consent to be taken to ICJ under Article 36 was not accepted. And Kenya has a mandate today to take back and do what we call a declaration as to whether they would like to take part in this ICJ. ICJ is not a court of a criminal nature. ICJ is a court of consent. If Kenya wants to withdraw from ICJ, Kenya can take one step back right to the court and stop cooperation with the court. Let the court take its measures until they solve the problems that you see that have been talked about. A Somali judge presiding over a corrupt bench making a decision, forcing Kenya into a corner to appear in this court, even when they are not prepared. The African Union Charter is very clear on the matters of the maritime borders and all the borders of African countries. A constitutive channel that of dialogue on the table could bring about a peaceful end to this dispute that has actually become a pain in the Indian Ocean enclave. It is very sad that the president of Somalia, President Famijo, tries to play to the gallery of imperial whims by calling a bluff of what they had agreed and the chairmanship of African Union. It is very sad again to make it very, very bad to look like African countries are fighting over borders that were demarcated without their knots. And yet, we are looking for a single passport where all Africans will be able to travel in Africa without the boundaries. It is sad again when you look at the trade, the inter-African trade, that charter which Somalia itself has endorsed and ratified, which will allow free trade in Africa without the borders. And then Somalia looks for a barrier that could bring about hardships in the region. Given all this, I think Kenya has a right to go back to the court, to write to the court, to tell them we have reconsidered, and our declaration is that cooperation of this court will depend on conditions, like the presiding judge leaves the bench. Thank you, viewers.